On the last episode of Alpha, the Antonio story, Peaches and Antonio's relationship continued to decline. That was all made worse by the fact that Peaches decided to join the crew as a stripper. She didn't discuss that with Antonio. She just got on the pole. In a discussion about it, Antonio realized that he helped to create a messed up situation. Peaches and Antonio agreed to end their relationship, but they didn't. A love triangle was created. But because Antonio was preoccupied with Cream, he didn't realize that Peaches was doing more than just stripping. Peaches had been prostituting within Antonio's circle, and she was pregnant. Antonio was livid, and he decided to confront Peaches. And now, Chapter 18, Consequences, narrated by Shandora Warren. Music by Epidemic Sound. I wasn't the type of man to put my hands on a woman, but Peaches could really make you want to. More often than not, Peaches failed to respond appropriately, and she did not miss on that day. I went over to Peaches' apartment, prepared to confront her about the obvious betrayal. And Peaches, she shrugged her shoulders and said, "I don't think the baby's yours, Bear, but you can get a test when it's born." That was it. She offered no explanation or apology for how or why any of it happened. "It's bigger than that," I said. "I got a thing going. It's my thing. You were never supposed to be a part of it in any way. I let you come in and dance because I know I messed up, but you ain't have no business touching that. You are my girl. This ain't just about you embarrassing me, which you obviously did, but you also broke every single rule. How are the other girls supposed to respect me if you just go rogue? Why do you always feel like you can just do and take whatever you want?" Peaches looked me squarely in the eyes. Without raising her voice and with no inflection in her tone, she said, "I sacrificed everything for you, Bear, and you treat me like I'm nothing. You say it's your thing. Guess what? Ain't nothing gonna be yours as long as I got my health and strength. Not unless I want you to have it. You will not take all my good years and just place me aside. As long as I'm able, I'm gonna take whatever I want off of you and anything that's connected to you. And I'm gonna do that until I get tired." Many people won't get it, but I wasn't mad at Peaches' reaction. However, something clicked. My mind flashed back to the documentary that I'd watched years earlier. It was the one about silverback gorillas and how they hold dominion over their family units. In that moment, I understood that something had to happen. Whether Peaches liked it or not, she had allowed me to be the dominant figure in the situation. For the most part, I made the rules. I decided that I'd have 2 girlfriends, and she actively participated in the situation. No resistance. While it was her decision to dance at the club, I could have stopped her at any time. It was my club. My name was the only name on the paperwork. I had given Peaches a lot of leeway, but it was time for me to pull rank and be the leader that I was supposed to be. I gave Peaches an ultimatum. She could have an abortion and life would go on, or she could have the baby and be on her own. That was it. I wasn't paying for some other man's child, and she wasn't going to be the tacky, pregnant stripper on my pole. Those were my terms. And with the understanding that she had limited financial options without me, Peaches agreed to the abortion. We set the appointment. That should have been it, right? I mean, obviously life was going to change because she had been out tricking. I had no desire to have sex with her anymore. But because I still loved Peaches, I had every intention of protecting and financially supporting her. But I didn't trust her any further than I could throw her. And because of that, I went to Peaches' doctor's appointments to make sure she got the abortion. Well, it turned out that Peaches was not only pregnant, but she was burning. Well, bumping. I don't know what they call it. But in the short version, Peaches had herpes. Initially, I was concerned for myself. I hadn't been with Peaches on a regular basis, but I knew I'd slept with her in the recent past. I got tested and I was all clear. The issue was a few of my clients came back positive. I wish I could have pretended that I didn't know where it came from, but the word was out by that point. Consequently, my lucrative prostitution business started to crumble. Basically, most of the Johns pulled out. I wish the one that got Peaches pregnant had pulled out. Pun intended. One would assume that Peaches would have been remorseful, Maybe she was, but she certainly didn't present that. She basically said, "Well, that's what happened, Bear." In my heart, I felt like she already knew before the doctor's appointment, and that made it all worse for me. Peaches knew what she was spreading to my clients. Who is that calm about having herpes? She was too nonchalant. And she basically said, "I'm going to do whatever I want to do, take whatever I want to take, and you just got to deal with it." Nah. The alpha male in me understood that Peaches had to be put in her place, so I made sure that happened, and I'll give no apologies for how that came about. There's one indisputable fact about men that were in my position, especially in the 90s. We all had goons. There were always 2 or 3 heavy hitters that were specifically hired to take care of business. If somebody owed money and didn't pay, the goons. If somebody was disrespectful, the goons. And because Peaches felt like she had the authority to consistently be out of line, the goons. I arrived at Peaches' apartment with my guys in tow. The 2 of them, along with me and Peaches, sat down for a chat. Very calmly, I said, "Peaches, I've been very patient because I know I've made some mistakes. However, there comes a point in time when a man has to assert some authority. From this point forward, I am no longer allowing you to make any of the decisions. I'm the leader in this situation, and you're going to treat me as such. Now, the blatant disrespect will be enough on its own, but you have behaved in a way that might suggest to the other women that they could step out of line. I can't have that. But it's bigger than just the disrespect. Because of your actions, my business has suffered. You have messed up my money for the very last time. It's time for you to suffer the consequences of your actions. As of today, everything you do is free. When you dance, the money will come to me. If you make money otherwise, you better make sure that money comes to me too. I'll give you enough to live, but that's it. You'll do that until I feel like I've been repaid for what you made me lose. That's what you're going to do, Peaches." Peaches laughed. "Do you really think I'm going to agree to that?" "Not willingly," I said. I knew Peaches, so I understood that the situation would play out just that way. As a result, my reply was ready. "Peaches, this is likely the first of many lessons, but I hope you eventually get it. You said you're going to take whatever you want until you get tired. Well, I hope this speeds up your exhaustion." I walked out of the apartment, leaving the goons to beat Peaches into submission. Again, I'll give no apologies. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to follow Shinny Tells a Story on Facebook and Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to purchase books by Shandora Warren, they're all available on Amazon in ebook, paperback, and some in hardback formats. Please like and follow this podcast and share it with your friends, family, and frenemies, because all relationships matter, even the toxic ones. Thanks so much for helping me to create the world that I want to see. This is my 10th book. Oh yeah, you're welcome.